I was trying to record that with my phone. I had a different lens that I was using that has broken, so I haven't uploaded in a few days or a few classes. But I think I'm just going to start uploading my Zoom videos for the meantime until I either get that lens fixed or get another lens. So this is a mindful Hatha class. So it's beginner friendly. It is we're going to work with pranayama, which is breath work, and mantra, which is just using sound. These are things that really aren't at this moment safe to practice in a studio, in my opinion. I'm not a scientist, but just based on everything I've read, like singing, which is like mantra, and using heavy breath, that's what passes COVID-19. So I don't feel safe doing that in the studio, so I'm still doing all my stuff virtually, and I hope that you'll start to join these classes, because I know this is a time period where people could really benefit from yoga. So today, River is joining me. You want to say hi?
Hi.
We'll see if he lasts the whole class, but he wanted to do some yoga today. So yeah, we'll start out seated. So for this class, I'll suggest using like a blanket, a Mexican blanket or a beach towel. If you have blocks or something that you like to use, you can do that, but I don't have any plans for blocks at this moment. So we'll start out seated, whether that is in a chair or I'm just on my folded up blanket. So just a little bit of lift underneath your hips. You can start with that. And then you can just get comfortable here. Close your eyes or take a soft gaze. I'll sit cross-legged if you're seated and that feels okay. And then we'll start to bring your awareness to your breath. Notice what the energy is like in the space around you. So if you're in your home, if you have kids or pets, maybe there's some sound or maybe even chaotic energy, or maybe it's quiet. Maybe you're in your home by yourself. Just taking in whatever is around you. And then feel the support of the earth beneath your body and allow yourself to just be supported here. Acknowledge that gravity is holding you here close to the earth. And knowing that you have this support, can you allow yourself to surrender? And then start to notice what is in your body. So how does your body feel? Where are you holding any tension? Maybe you have some achy spots, or maybe there's parts of your body that feel warmer or cooler than the rest. Whatever it is, make space for it and allow it to be present. And notice your mind and how it may or may not reflect your physical state. So maybe your mind is impacting your physical state, maybe your physical state impacts your mind, or maybe both of that is going on, both of those things. And whatever's here, just allow it to be. So know that this is part of your story and that there's nothing wrong with you if it's uncomfortable. This is a space to just listen to what is present in your body and your mind, to tune into how your nervous system is working and to have compassion for whatever's here. And maybe it's a space to release what doesn't serve you. So maybe there's shame or guilt, or some sort of blame. And maybe you can release that, or maybe it's something that you need to experience. So these feelings of discomfort, sometimes it's necessary to let go, and then sometimes it's just part of being human. And then acknowledging and having compassion for it makes it a little easier, and that helps it pass maybe more quickly. But whatever's here, it's in this moment, and the next moment is different. So let's bring one hand to our heart and one hand to our belly. Can you do that? Do one hand to your belly. And then just take a few deep breaths here. Notice how your hands move with your breath. And we'll open up with a single Om. We'll take a full breath together first. And then we're going to inhale to Om. Welcome. So yeah, this is a donation-based yoga. If you have the means, I would love a donation. I have a Venmo account. It's Jessica Ruthie, Ruthie. You can always contact me too on Facebook, or if you know me personally, you can text me or email me. I have PayPal, Jessica K. Stevens, and again, just reach out if there are other ways. And then if you don't, I want to make sure that yoga is accessible to everyone. So this is just I've been searching for like purpose and clarity, and I really want my classes to be a safe space for everyone, regardless of race, religion, gender, sexuality, age, ability. Yoga does not need to be for elite, fit, white people, and rich people. I should add that. I can't afford to go to a lot of studios. Only because I'm a teacher can I do that. So if you don't have the means, that's okay. Please take these classes, share these classes. Getting the word out helps just as much as donations help. So we'll stay seated to begin. So let's stretch our legs out first. So you want to do this with me? Let's stretch your legs out. You got it face either forward or back. And then we'll just lean back and you can shake your legs a little bit. And then windshield wiper your feet side to side. So I don't think that my feet are visible on this camera from what I can tell. But we're just going to point and flex our feet a few times. So just pointing and flexing. And then you're going to circle your feet around your ankles. What? And then you can circle the opposite way. So I'm just kind of pointing and flexing. As I'll show you. It looks like that, but my legs are straight. All right. And then we can stop that. Let's come back to a cross-legged position. So can you sit? So this can be done seated in a chair too. So you don't have to be cross-legged. You can just sit with your feet on the ground. So just know that it doesn't feel comfortable in everyone's hips or knees to sit on the ground. But sometimes just a little bit of lift can help. So I've got my blanket folded like this. So I've got maybe like 2 or 3 inches of lift. But you can do a couple of blankets. You can do a thick pillow if you want. But the key when sitting on a blanket is just coming right to the edge so your knees kind of drop. Your hips open up a little bit more. So I'll still see people in classes. Like if your hips are tight, this is what you've got. So you want to lift up. I mean, you might take 2 blankets, 2 or 3 blankets and stack them up. And then it'll help you start to open up a little bit more. So wherever you're seated, we're going to inhale, sweep your arms up toward the ceiling. You can turn your gaze up, palms come to touch. Exhale, hands to your heart center. With me. And then we'll inhale one more time. Sweep your arms up, gaze is up. Exhale, hands to your heart. Inhale, arms up. As you exhale, this time we're going to twist to your right. So right hand comes back behind you. Left hand can reach for the outside of your right leg. It might reach in front. If you've got a chair, you can use the armrest to help you come into this twist. I'm just going to find a long spine to begin. So know that all of these shapes will feel different in each of our bodies, and it will look different. So you don't have to look like me. I want you to find what serves you. You're going to turn your gaze back over your left shoulder and then drop your left ear down. So right ear moves toward the ceiling. And then you can find just a little bit of shifting with your chin here, finding that stretch through the right side of your neck. And you'll inhale, bring your head back up. Turn your gaze now back toward your right. And then you'll take your right hand, you're going to press it back. Palm is flat here. And then bend your elbows so your palm is right at your ear like you're trying to talk on the phone. Left hand again can be in between your legs. It can be grabbing your right leg. We'll take an inhale here. Lengthen your spine. As you exhale, you'll drop left shoulder down toward your left knee. Right elbow reaches for the ceiling. And we'll inhale back up. And exhale. Inhale back up. Exhale. This time we're going to pause here. And then with your right hand, you can reach it forward. Maybe you reach fingertips forward. You can bring it down to your hip or around your low back if you'd like. Or you can leave it on your head. So just finding what serves you. Please don't touch my arm. And we're going to inhale, come back up through center, and then just pause before we switch sides. All right, let's inhale, sweep your arms up. Palms come to touch, maybe turn your gaze up. Exhale, hands to your heart center. Do you want to do this with me? Here, sit here. Then we'll inhale, sweep your arms up again. As you exhale, let's twist to your left. So right hand can reach for the outside of your left leg. It can press on the ground in front of you. You get to decide. Might be different this way. Finding a long spine. Take an inhale here. As you exhale, turn your gaze toward your right shoulder. So turning it forward, and then drop your right ear down, left ear toward the ceiling. And then once you're here, you can shift your chin around just very slightly, finding that stretch through the left side of your neck. Keep your breath long and steady. Inhale your head back up. Turn your gaze over your left shoulder. We're going to take your left hand, press back. Palm flat, and you'll bend your elbow. Palm comes to your ear like you're talking on the phone. We'll take an inhale here. As you exhale, drop your right shoulder down. Left elbow reaches for the ceiling. And then we'll inhale back up. Exhale, dip your shoulder down. Inhale back up. As you exhale, this time we'll pause here. So you can stay here with your hand on your head. You can reach your arm forward. You can take your hand down to your hip or around your low back. So just finding what serves you, knowing this side may be different. It may look different than the way I'm doing it. And then we'll inhale, unwind, come back through center. A few deep breaths here. All right. Let's uncross your legs, shake out your legs a little bit. You can bounce your knees, windshield wiper your feet side to side. All right, we're going to come to hands and knees now. So you get on your mat, please. Not space. So hands and knees, if you'd like to pad your knees, you can. Take your hands under your shoulders. Then I'm going to take my hands a little wider so pinkies are at the edges of my mat. Knees are hips distance. And then keep your elbows soft here. We're going to inhale as you lift your chin, lift your tailbone. Exhale as you press the ground away. Then inhale, heart forward. And then we can start to find some organic movement. So you might shift your hips a little bit side to side as you move, or you might start to bring your hips back toward your heels. So just exploring sensation in your body here. And then on your next exhale, we're going to press back to child's pose. So big toes come to touch. You can have knees wide or close together. And then in child's pose, if it's comfortable, let's bend your elbows, bring palms to touch overhead. Why don't you do this? All right, let's release your hands. We're going to make our way up to hands and knees. So you may stay right here on your hands and knees. You may come back to child's pose, or you can tuck your toes under. As you exhale, press your hips up and back. Come into downward facing dog. So in downward facing dog, you want to get your head in between your arms here. So notice if like your head is forward, you're putting a little too much weight in your hands here. So if you're experiencing that, sometimes it's tight shoulders that causes that. I want you to bend your knees and then start to press your hips back. So keeping your knees bent is a nice way to experience this pose, and you can find the space through the sides of your rib cage and underneath your arms. Take a few big breaths, exhaling through your nose. If you'd like to find some movement as you do this, you can. So sometimes it feels really nice to just kind of pedal it out. All right, we're going to turn your gaze forward between your hands as you exhale. Start to walk your feet forward. Find a standing forward fold. Your hands reach down toward the ground. They may or may not touch the ground at this point. Shake your head yes and no. So what we're going to do here is find a twist. So your hands, again, may or may not touch the ground, so they may be more like at shin height. But what we're going to do is reach your left hand towards your right. So it may just rest in front of your right foot. You might grab your shin or your ankle, and then right hand comes to hip. So you'll lift up halfway as you come into this twist, and you can stay here. You can take your right arm up toward the ceiling. We'll take an inhale here as you exhale, come back through center. Inhale, lift up halfway. So flat spine. Exhale, fold. Not seeing right in front of me. So we're going to twist this time the opposite way. So right hand can come in front of your left foot. It can reach for your shin or the outside of your ankle or the outside of your calf. I guess it's more your calf than your shin. And then left hand comes to hip as you turn to the left. You may stay right here. You may take your left arm up toward the ceiling. One more inhale here. As you exhale, come back through center. We're going to inhale up halfway again. We're going to pause here at this halfway point. Take an exhale. Find some length in your spine. So lengthen tailbone all the way up through the crown of your head. And then you're going to soften your knees. We're going to inhale. Sweep your hands up toward the ceiling. Exhale. Hands to your heart center. So now let's take your hands forward. We're gonna make a mudra with your hands. So fingers interlace, point your fingers pointing forward. We're gonna take an inhale here. As you exhale, twist to your right. So it may just be a little bit. You might be able to come all the way to the side. Keep your feet firmly rooted, knees soft. We'll inhale, come back through center. As you exhale, I'm going to turn the opposite way. Notice how it feels this way, so you may be able to turn further or not. Inhale back through center. Take an exhale here. We're going to inhale, sweep your hands up toward the ceiling. So how does it feel with this mudra with your hands interlaced? If it's really uncomfortable on neck and shoulders, you can release that. Just take your hands wide. But wherever you are, find a little bit of a back bend. So it may look like more of a back bend in my body than yours, or you may be able to bend a lot more than me, and that's okay. So just finding what works. So I want you to press back through the base of your skull. This makes me yawn, opening up through the sides of the rib cage here. I'm going to take one more inhale here. As you exhale, let's fold it forward. You can release that bind of your hands once you come down if you've still got it. We'll inhale, lift up halfway. I'm usually not walking while I do this. You can do yoga with me if you want. And then as you exhale, we're going to meet back either in downward facing dog or hands and knees. And then wherever you are, let's take an inhale through your nose, big exhale through your mouth. Inhale, knees down to your mat. And then pause. Listen here, can you do yoga with me? I'm going to have to ask you to leave if you keep standing. Come down to your hands and knees. Like this, yeah. You have to let go of your thumb though. All right. So from hands and knees here, we're going to come down onto our forearms. And you're going to take your left hand and walk it out in front of your right hand. Trying to see what you can see in this. So left hand is in front of right hand, so it's kind of off the edge of the mat a tiny bit. And then you'll draw your tailbone down, so it's like your navel drawing in and up. And then hips shift slightly to the right. Let your breath expand through the left rib cage here. You can let your head rest on your forearm if you'd like. And then you can slowly start to come back through center. So just getting that nice opening through the side of your rib cage. So this helps you with taking long, deeper breaths, which helps with all kinds of things, anxiety and sleep, general well-being. I'm going to turn to face this side. So I end up facing you in my next pose, but you can face the same direction. So from here, this time you're going to stand on your hands. We're going to take your left foot back behind you. So just coming into a stretch with your left foot heel, moving back, elbows soft. And then we're going to take that foot to the back right corner of your mat. So shifting it over to the side of your mat. And then you'll take your hips and shift over to the left. So we just did that work opening up through the left rib cage. Now we're opening up through the left hip. So just kind of moving down through the side of your body. We're going to inhale, come back through center. So now what you're going to do is you're going to swing your right shin back a little bit, so for balance, and then plant the sole of your left foot, and we'll inhale both hands up parallel to the ground. So if you'd like to pad your knees, if you haven't padded your knees yet, feel free to do that. So my left foot here is parallel with the edge of my mat, approximately. If it feels better to turn out a little bit, that's fine, or turn in a little bit, that's fine. We're going to take an inhale, shift your left hand down, reach up and back with your right hand. And then we're going to take your right hand to your head and just press back. Your head presses into your hand as your hand presses forward. So back of your neck is really long here. And we'll inhale both hands back up. As you exhale, right hand down, left hand reaches forward. Find that stretch through your side body. Take an inhale here. As you exhale, you're going to turn your heart and your shoulder down. Right elbow's soft. You're just going to draw circles with your left hand. And then we'll inhale, sweep your left hand up. Exhale, hips and heart turn to face the ground. Inhale, back up. And exhale. One more time, inhale up. Exhale, you're gonna bring both hands down. You're gonna, your right shin is down here, left toes are tucked under. And then we're gonna inhale your right leg up and back. If it feels okay, you're gonna stack your hips. Open up through the right side of your body. And then you'll inhale, right leg up and back. Exhale your foot back down to the ground. We're gonna inhale, knees down to your mat. As you exhale, you're gonna walk your knees back and find a little bit of a plank here. So this is a plank with your knees down. I've got my hands wide, so pinkies at the edges of my mat. Take an inhale as you root down. Start to engage your core, low belly engages. As you exhale, lower all the way down your belly. So for some of you, it may look like you're just kind of folding down, or you might be able to keep a straight line as you come all the way down. And we'll inhale, come up to your forearms. So we'll pause here in Sphinx pose. So if this bothers your low back, feel free to take your forearms a little bit further forward. So for Sphinx, here's the alignment. So what I see in classes a lot of times is that people come into it and you'll have your arms wide. So you're kind of crouched down like this and it feels tight in your neck and your shoulders. You want to get your wrists and your elbows in line with your shoulders. And then elbows are just maybe, classic alignment is just maybe an inch or so in front of your shoulders. But a lot of times it feels better to have them further forward. You don't want them back, so you don't want to put all that strain in your shoulders. Take an inhale here. As you exhale, drop your left shoulder down, gaze comes over your right, toward your right heel, press forward through your right forearm. And you'll inhale back through center. We'll exhale the opposite way. So press forward through your left forearm as your gaze comes left. Inhale back through center. We'll do it one more time on either side. All right, inhale back through center. As you exhale, hands under your shoulders, tuck your toes under. We're going to press back through child's pose with your toes tucked under. It's not really child's pose. And then you'll come back up to hands and knees, press up into downward facing dog, or stay on your hands and knees. So that's always an option. We'll take a big breath. Inhale through your nose, exhale through your mouth. Inhale your gaze forward between your hands. As you exhale, start to walk your feet forward. Find that standing forward fold. All right, let's work on those twists again. So we're going to take your right hand. It's going to reach for either the front of your left foot, your ankle, your shin, left hand to hip as you turn your heart to the left here. And you may stay right here. You may take your left arm up toward the ceiling. Take an inhale here. As you exhale, come back through center. You're going to inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, fold. And then we'll do the opposite. So left hand reaches either for the front of your right foot, the outside of your left leg or your ankle, right hand to hip, and then you can maybe take your right arm up. Take an inhale here, exhale back through center. We're going to inhale, lift up halfway, so long spine here. As you exhale, we'll pause, find that length from tailbone all the way through the crown of your head. You'll inhale, soften in your knees, drop your hips down, sweep your hands up. Standing straight and tall, reaching for the ceiling. Exhale, hands to your center. All right. Let's turn. Well, I'm turning to face the other way, so I'll end up facing you on my mat. All right. Let's inhale, arms back up. As you exhale, forward fold. Inhale up halfway. As you exhale, let's plant your hands, make your way back to hands and knees. All right, so we're going to move through this the opposite way. Make space for this child here. Yeah, I need you to go in the other room if you can't make space for me to do yoga. All right, so we're going to come down onto forearms again. So last time we took left arm forward. This time we're going to take your right hand forward. So it's right in front of your left. I shouldn't say right in front of your left hand. You're crossing over your left hand. So fingers are maybe just off the edge of the mat. And then if it's comfortable, if you need to let your head rest on your forearm, you can. We're going to draw your tailbone down and slightly to the left. So you feel that stretch through the right rib cage here. All right, let's take an inhale. We'll come back up through center and then just pause. Let's notice how each side feels. Then we're going to take your right foot back. So you're going to start to press back through your heel here. I'm just getting a little bit of a calf stretch. And then we're going to take the right foot to the back left corner of your mat. And as you do that, you'll shift your hips over to the right. So we're opening up through the side of the rib cage. Now it's more through the right hip. Sometimes this feels intense and sometimes it doesn't. So it just depends on the tightness of your hips. If you're a runner, this is usually a good runner stretch. When I had a child that I held on my hip all the time, this guy's a little too big now. This is a really nice stretch for holding a baby. That right elbow soft. So you're going to take your right foot back now, and then you'll start to swing your left shin out just for balance. You're going to plant the sole of your right foot. And we'll inhale, sweep both hands up. So again, my right foot is parallel to the edge of the mat, or maybe turn out a little bit if that feels better. Maybe turn in a little bit. We're going to take an inhale here. As you exhale, right hand down your leg, left arm up and back. And then you can take your hand back behind your head if you'd like. Maybe pressing your head into your hand as your hand presses forward. You're going to inhale, arms open wide. As you exhale, left hand down, we'll sweep right fingertips forward. We're going to keep your left elbow soft here. Take an inhale here. As you exhale, you're going to turn your heart and your hips down. Trace your right finger toward the ground. So you're just going to circle with your right hand and we'll inhale back up. Exhale. Inhale back up. And exhale. One more time, you bring your hands down now. You're going to swing your left shin back. Can you please? Okay. So you're going to tuck right toes under. We'll inhale, left foot up and back, and then exhale as you stack your hips. Can you shut the door, River, please? We'll inhale your leg up and back. Exhale, meet in downward facing dog. He's fine in here if he wants to do yoga. Take a big breath. Inhale through your nose, exhale through your mouth. Inhale, knees down to your mat. As you exhale, walk your knees back. We'll find that plank pose with your knees down. Keep your core engaged, so low belly is hugging in, the outer edges of your belly hug in there, like wrapping in like you're tightening a girdle here. We're going to inhale, root down. As you exhale, just slowly lower down to your belly. So for some of you, you might drop hips first. Some of you might be a flat line. We're going to inhale, sweep your forearms forward. And then again, we'll just pause here in Sphinx pose. So feel your hips connect to the earth. Tops of your feet connect to the earth. And take an inhale here. As you exhale, drop your chin down toward your chest. And then you're just going to start to rock your head side to side very slightly. So left ear draws toward your shoulder. Right ear draws toward your shoulder. You're keeping your chin tucked, so it's not like turning of your chin. It's just really kind of very subtle movement side to side. Very slow. So you're getting a stretch through those muscles run up the back of your neck. So just kind of exploring sensation here. And you're going to slowly release that. You'll let your head rest on your palms here. Shake your hips a little bit side to side. All right. Let's come back up to Sphinx. So if you need to modify in any way, you can. So you can take your arms a little further forward. Sometimes it feels nice to have support under your rib cage, so you can fold up your blanket and slide it under your rib cage, so it's a little less pressure in your forearms or your shoulders here. That's an option. But what we'll do here, so you can keep that there if that's your choice. So you're going to start to press forward through your right forearm. As you do that, I want you to lift your left leg. So you'll feel your glute engage here, your quad, the front of your leg, and your hip flexor are working. You're going to press out through the ball of your left foot as your right forearm presses down and forward. Inhale here. Exhale, release. You can come all the way down or just come back into Sphinx. You get to decide if you need a little break from the back bend, you can. And then we're going to start to press forward through your left forearm. Lift your right leg up. Press back through the ball of your right foot. Inhale here. Exhale, we're going to come back down. Shake your hips a little bit side to side. All right, we're going to come back into Sphinx pose. If the back bending part is, if you're done with this, you can just stay down. You can still do this work down. So what we're going to do is take your right leg out to the side. So you may stay down like this with your head on your palms. You may come up into Sphinx. So finding that opening through the right hip flexor here. Breath is long and steady. And just pause here and allow yourself to be in the sensation or to be in your mind. Just noticing, like, what is it? Is your body your focus? Are your thoughts your focus? Inhale here. As you exhale, we're going to start to press into your right forearm. You'll thread your left arm underneath and then start to come into a twist. So right now my hips are stacked. So right hip is on top of left hip. Left arm is back behind. You can use that blanket if you'd like for support underneath your right leg. So sometimes that feels nice. Sometimes I take my left hand to my right leg. You might take your right arm up or you might take it back behind you. Just finding a nice twist. Now, if this doesn't work for your spine or your low back or your hip, you're welcome to just come into a twist where you stack your knees. So that's sometimes more neutral variation. One more breath here. As you exhale, let's come back through center. Sorry, I say back through center. Let's come onto your back. And then just pause for a few breaths and notice how each side of your body feels. All right, let's roll back to your belly. So we'll come back into Sphinx pose if that works. Again, you can also just keep your head stacked on your palm. And then whichever variation you choose, we'll take left leg out to the side. Just finding that opening through the front of your left hip flexor. One inhale here. On your exhale, you'll start to find that twist. So right arm threads underneath the left. You'll start to roll onto your right hip. So again, my hips are stacked here. Right, left leg is on top. If you want to use a blanket underneath your left leg for support, you can. You can take your left arm back behind you, or overhead, or out to the side. Notice how this side feels compared to the other side. The little one is having a hard time today. All right, let's take one more breath here. Inhale through your nose. As you exhale, make your way onto your back. And just pause and just take it in. All right, so let's bend your knees. Soles of your feet come to the ground here. You'll take your hands next to your hips. So let's pause here for a moment. Let's take, so it's not going to look like you're moving here, but we're going to do a few pulses where your feet are pressing into the ground. You're not lifting, but you're just going to press. But notice what muscles turn on as you press down, and then how it feels to relax as you release that. And maybe, I mean, there's subtle movement here. It's probably not visible on camera, but you'll feel it in your body, noticing how the muscles engage and disengage. All right, so the next time you press your feet down, we're just going to lift your hips up maybe like an inch or two, and then you'll start to lower and try to roll your spine as you lower. And then we'll inhale, lift, maybe a little higher. Exhale as you lower. lift, maybe even a little bit higher. Exhale, lower. This time we'll come all the way up into a bridge pose. Inhale your hips up. Exhale, we're going to lower your spine. Try to lengthen your tailbone toward your heels as you lower. And then we'll inhale up. Exhale, lower. Inhale one more time. Soles of the feet pressed into the ground. This time we're going to pause here for a few breaths. So you want to get the weight evenly distributed between both feet, between the heels and the balls of your feet. See if you can relax your glutes a little bit. Notice how that feels, and then let your heart move up toward the ceiling. Maybe you walk your shoulders toward each other. Sometimes it feels nice to bend your elbows, fingertips point toward the ceiling, and you can walk your shoulders together. And you may stay right here. You may grab the edges of your mat. You may walk your fingers together and interlace them underneath your low back. And again, try to get your glutes to relax. Press your feet forward slightly. See how that feels. Take one more inhale here. As you exhale, we're going to release. Lower your hips down. Tailbone draws toward your heels. And then as you lower down, you're going to take your feet as wide as your mat. Toes turn in. Knees rest against each other. Windshield wiper your feet or your knees side to side here. And then let's bring these back into your belly and just give yourself a hug. Rock a little bit side to side. Fingers come to your kneecaps. Fingertips point toward your toes. As you inhale, your legs will pull your arms straight. Exhale, bend your knee or bend your elbows as you pull your knees into your belly and inhale. This is Apanasana, lovely release for your low back. Inhale. Release your feet back down to the ground, and then as you're ready, we'll move into Shavasana, our final resting pose. So you can take your feet forward if you'd like to roll up your blanket or your towel, whatever it is that you're using, and slide it under your knees or your hips. You can do that. I'm going to use one over my body too, because it helps feel a little more grounded with weight on me. And then you'll just allow yourself to surrender to the support of the earth beneath you. Release any control that you have over your breath, over your body. Bring your awareness back to your breath, back to the feeling of the ground beneath your body. And we'll close out this practice with just a little bit of breath work. So you're welcome to stay here supported by the earth on your back in Shavasana. You can do this work on your back. Or if you're ready to come to seated, feel free to gradually make your way there. But just taking some time to find a comfortable, supported position. And so the breath work is simple and it's a releasing breath. So if you're feeling anxiety or tension, can help release. It can be a cooling breath too. So just an inhale through your nose. As you exhale, exhale through pursed lips. So upset child in the other room. So we'll do just several rounds of breath like that. Inhale through your nose. You can continue that a few more rounds on your own. And as you are ready, you can come back to your normal breath. Again, if you're supported by the earth, feel free to stay here. If you're seated, you can bring your hands to your heart center. Just take a moment acknowledging what is present in your body and mind. Know that it's all valid. So the comforts and the discomforts are all part of your experience. Make space, practice compassion for whatever's here.